Hey everybody, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today on Make It with Mod Podge. My name is Cathie and today I'm going to be making these really cool glitter resin coasters. These are super easy to make and I'm going to be using the new Mod Podge Resin to create them. Look at all of that sparkle. I'm also going to show you how you can use alcohol inks to create that really cool solid look. Look at all those layers, so fun. These are the new Mod Podge molds for making coasters. I really like that they have this extra lip. Plus these molds are shiny finish, so you get a gorgeous shiny finish on the top and bottom that way. So you don't really need to do all the extra sanding or doing the second coat when you're working with these. So for today's project, I want to go through a couple of the different things that we're going to be using. Look how great, they've just fit a coffee mug perfectly. So cool. So some of the things I'm going to use is some alcohol inks. Okay, these are alcohol inks and you'll just give them a little shake to get those mixed up in case there is any settling. I'm going to be using everything from ultra fine glitters to some Aurora Borealis chunky glitter. I've even got this sort of glitter mix. I've got some other little glitters and some more chunky glitter. And I'm gonna use all of these in a couple of different ways. So I'm gonna mix some clear resin with them. I'm gonna do some sprinkling, all different things. And we're just going to experiment because these coasters, really every single one turns out so differently and so fun that you really just need to get creative, choose the colors that you wanna use and then just dive right in. I will be, for safety, using some special gloves, and a couple other, of course I'm gonna be using a respirator when I'm mixing the resin and pouring it. This resin sets up in 24 hours, so make sure when you're doing a project like this, you have a place where you can put your coasters to rest for 24 hours without moving them around. Another quick tip is that I like to have on hand a smaller mold. So I have something like this that's got some jewelry pendant shapes, and I also have some projects that I am halfway through. These are going to end up being for another video, but it's a good idea because sometimes you mix your resin, it's not an exact science, so I like to have a little thing on hand that if I've got just a tiny bit left, I don't want to waste it, I can go ahead and just pour it and make a pendant or something fun like that. So when you're getting started and you're going to be working on a big project, just have a couple extra molds aside and you can put all your waste in there and create some new cool pendants or jewelry. Okay guys, so this video I'm going to be answering questions live. So please let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I am going to be wearing the respirator for this, so it's mostly going to be a hands-on video. So let's go ahead and dive right in. To mix the resin, I'm mixing part 1 and part 2 of the Mod Podge Resin. I'm using a smooth-walled cup and a popsicle stick. I'm being careful to scrape the sides of the cup and the bottoms to really blend part 1 and part 2 together. I will mix for 3 minutes solid. Once it's mixed for 3 minutes, you have about a half hour to work with the resin before it starts to harden. Okay guys, here is the fun part. Now we're gonna add our clear mixed resin to glitters, all different kinds of glitters, and we're gonna be adding some alcohol inks. This is the part where you can really get creative. Some of the glitters I'm going to keep loose and just use them for sprinkling. For the alcohol inks, you only need a few drops. Okay, here is the second super fun part. Now you get to pour all of your resins into your resin mold. I'm not using any kind of mold release with this. And like I said before, this is a shiny mold, so you're gonna get a nice glossy finish on both sides of your poured coaster. I like to start in the center and work my way around to the edges, but it's really up to you. This is where you can experiment and have fun. To remove the air bubbles, I'm spraying the tops of the coasters with alcohol, just plain old rubbing alcohol, and this will remove any of those air bubbles at the top. So I'm all cleaned up. I have set the coasters that I just poured aside. I'm gonna let them dry for 24 hours overnight, and then I'm going to film them. I'll do a little filming, take a little pictures so we can see what they look like after 24 hours. Okay, it's been 24 hours and now it's time to unmold these coasters, and wow, they look gorgeous. I love how all of the glitters came together. To finish off the coasters, I like to add little rubber feet to the bottoms. Just gives it a polished look. I absolutely love how these glittery coasters turn out. Mixing the glitters is so fun. One thing I do want to remind you of is that this is not a science other than mixing part 1 and part 2. So each one's going to turn out differently. So really have fun and experiment. Gather some alcohol inks and glitters and just play around with the colors. These are great gifts, but they're really fun for your own home decor. So if you've got a certain color palette going on, create some of these really cool glitter coasters to match your space. Thanks so much for joining me, you guys. We will see you next week with another Make It with Mod Podge. We're gonna be doing lots of different resin projects over the next few months. So keep checking back. We're gonna be doing art, we're gonna be doing jewelry, all sorts of different projects using the new Mod Podge resin. So thanks, you guys. Make sure you use the hashtag Plaid Crafts and Mod Podge so we can see what you're making. Bye.